Okay, cool. So, here's how we're going to go about it, and then you could tell me if you're okay with that. So, the idea is that we are talking to the industry experts and the earliest adopters of AI that are sort of experimenting different AI platforms and techniques with their practices, with their clinical research, right? And so obviously you have a network of sites and you are one of the few people who are literally at the forefront, right? Trying these new different things, and the rest of the people are literally going to follow. So that's the premise behind these videos. And so these videos are not meant to be an endorsement of Bitfound. We're hardly going to talk about Bitfound. We might not even go there.
So will you be asking me questions?
Yes, I will be asking you some questions. We'll start with intro. After that, we will go very quickly to the challenges that are being faced currently by clinical research teams. Let's say recruitment, data sharing. Then another question after that will be, how do you see AI being integrated in clinical research, and how do you see AI accelerating that research? And then finally, final two things. I will ask you as an optional thing, what do you think of platforms like Bitfound, and what does on-prem AI offer? That could speed up these processes. And then just a looking ahead at the future. How do you see the future of clinical research to be? I'm just going to make some final few adjustments. Oh, this looks sick. I love the chain.
Oh, thank you.
Refreshing to see somebody
I know,
put in
right?
some
It's
effort.
Yeah.
Okay. We are good to go. So let's start with the intro on the count of 3. 1, 2, and 3.
2, 1.
And
My name is David Almeida. I'm a vitreoretinal surgeon and clinician scientist at Erie Retinal Research. We have sites all over 5 continents, and I'm involved in exclusively clinical trials since 2024.
Perfect. Wow, you've had some good camera training, I can tell.
I do a lot of these.
Yes, I have had trouble shooting doctors. This is great. Okay, now let's talk very briefly, very flexible. We can do as many takes as we want about the challenges that clinical research teams like yours are facing currently.
So, 2, 1. There's multiple challenges facing clinical trials currently. How we approach it, we try to arbitrage some things that are related to time. Because if we think about if you can accelerate clinical trials without sacrificing any robustness of data, any integrity to the safety and the efficacy that you're trying to measure, I think that's the most critical one. So things around eligibility, things about how you enroll a trial. Why are we still enrolling trials 1, 2, 3, 4? Why not enroll in blocks? So this is kind of some of the ways that we try to think about these issues.
Perfect. Amazing. Okay, now let's talk about how AI. Okay, so here's the deal. Do you want to talk about just AI, or do you want to talk about on-prem AI or federation?
I think I'm going to talk about federation directly, about data sharing, because that's important.
Okay.
And then I'm going to talk about AI agnostically first, because I think you'll see why.
Okay, perfect. So let's just talk about federation, right? And how does it tie up to maybe patient finding, data sharing, all of these things?
AI first? Because I think
Sure.
more sense.
Sure.
2, 1. How we're using AI at Erie Retinal Research and the Centers for Advanced Surgical Exploration, the CASEX global sites, is really to try to get to eligibility better. So if you think about before you enroll the patient and after you enroll the patient. So before the patient, AI systems, we have about half a dozen that interact to make sure that we find patients who are actually eligible, who are going to respond to the treatment, who want to be in the trial faster. And on the back end, we're the first sites to uncouple data translation. So that is now a virtual AI-driven process, all of data transmission. It's not the old way of a study coordinator sitting in there and inputting data. So these are some of the both front and back that we've integrated AI. In terms of one of the issues you typically come up with, though, is that as you're sharing AI, as you're trying to go into multiple countries, nations, into their systems, the ability to data share in a meaningful way, federation is critical. So I think that I commend platforms like Bitfound and what they're doing. I think this is critical because it will accelerate our process. If we can't federate things, regulatory is going to be more difficult, and we're going to have more jeopardy to the potential data being transferred.
Perfect. Okay, now let's talk a little bit about AI at large. How do you see AI sort of shaping the future. We're going to do the future part first. Then we will just, if you wanted, maybe talk a little bit about what do you think of Bitfound's capabilities, right? But that's an optional thing. Let's talk about AI at large. And like 10 years from now or 20 years from now, how do you see clinical research being done?
Yeah, clinical trials for the future. So last year at Ophthalmology Innovation Summit, OIS in San Diego, I presented this very talk. What are the clinical trials of the future? You can think about a few different parameters or metrics that change. The first is we don't enroll trials one patient at a time. We try to enroll the whole trial at one time. So imagine, because this is important too for data transmission, database logs. So if you're, rather than going all the way through, enroll everyone, and then everyone's in the same phase. Think about how we do clinical trials right now. Sites at different phases of the trial, trying to communicate to one central party that's now managing. It's not ideal. So I think that's one critical part. The other part is going to be in terms of the way the data moves. So everything from data federation to data analysis. Thinking more about not individuals' quota of data, but the whole blocks and the whole integration of the whole trial data always at one time. So I think this is that in terms of moving that bioinformatics of data. I think AI will be critical for that.
Perfect. Amazing. Okay, so now the final thing. So this is sort of like, what do you think about Bitfound's work or the platform's capabilities? It's an extremely open-ended question, only if you feel comfortable talking about it. We're obviously going to send you the whole video before we put it.
Talk about it, yeah.
Yes. Okay, so let's go ahead.
How does Bitfound, how do we see Bitfound, how do I see Bitfound? I think it's an incredibly important platform for the principles of what it's trying to do. The ability to bring in investigative sites, investigators from all over the world into one platform is critical. But also then how do you bring them in? So things like federation, like we have to think about data transmission protocols through not actually pulling that data, leaving that data where it is, not only for safety and auditing, but also that's going to be more secure and once again allow us to enroll trials faster. So the way moving that data in a federated way and then going back and saying, look, now that we can see the data more meaningfully early, let's do something with that. Then deploying algorithms, AI there, once again in a federated way, we can now see that we can interact with sites completely with something like Bitfound through this way. And I think this will be, if not all of it, to a dramatic part, a significant component of future clinical trials.
Amazing.
Excellent, right on.
Amazing.
Hey, really enjoyed our discussion. Thanks